marks another historic moment for the promotion of intellectual development of the studentry of Negros Oriental State University, Bayawan Santa Catalina campus, and of course the campus itself. To further provide us with a raison d'etre of Lantugi 2015 and to welcome us all, let us give a hand to the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, at the same time the Chair of Lantugi 2015, Professor Albert C. Albina, M.A. Philo.
Honorable adjudicators, worthy debaters, credible coaches, moderator and timekeeper, faculty members in the English and Literature department, and to the rest of the faculty members of this campus, staff, students, guests, and other stakeholders of this institution, good morning. The highest form of art known to man is logic. It directs the mind per se to think critically and reason out substantially. The ultimate form of which is debate, an intellectual tradition which dates back to the philosophical discourses in ancient Greece. This is an exercise of presenting and defending one's arguments using logically sophisticated arguing techniques. Hence, the debate competition, which is translated in our own vernacular as Lantugi. It is my singular honor, therefore, to welcome you all to this Lantugi 2015. Listen and observe intently as this intellectual intercourse unfolds, and as a few of the finest brains in the campus speak their minds on the proposition, resolve that sangguniang kabataan be abolished. The reason for the selection of this proposition is to ignite your curiosity and enrich your awareness on a social-political issue that affects your lives and the lives of the next generation. As we listen to their exchange of arguments, may we come to realize the value of language in communication, and in so doing, may we be able to embrace the importance of agreeing to disagree without being disagreeable. And finally, conclude that a person with sound mind should always endeavor to evaluate objectively and thoroughly the arguments of both sides. On this note, I would like to formally welcome you all and officially open Lantugi 2015. Once again, good morning.
Thank you, Professor Albina, who is a true believer about objectivity and rational argumentation. Let's now proceed to the reading of guidelines and criteria, which is, of course, will serve as the rudder for this Lantugi 2015. A rudder for, or a guide for the coaches, and the debaters, and of course also for our adjudicators. Let's proceed to guideline number 1. Lantugi 2015 is a logical, linguistic, and academic exercise. Hence, the use of critical thinking or sound reasoning and the proper use of the English language, along with the values of respect and honesty in research and speech, must always be maintained. Debaters must be bona fide students of good academic standing and currently enrolled in the second semester of academic year 2014-2015 in Negros Oriental State University, Bayawan Santa Catalina campus. To qualify, interested students must undergo a proper screening. The approved schedule for this is January 27, 2015, 3 p.m. at the campus ADR. In the said screening process, students will be ranked accordingly using these criteria. First is viewpoint worth 3 points. Second is use of facts and examples, which is also worth 3 points. The rest, which are also worth 3 points respectively, we have here relevance of supporting documents, strength of arguments, speaking voice, and preparation with a total of 18 points. Students who are part of the shortlist shall be assigned by the debate technical working committee to a debate team. We have here affirmative or negative. The debate format observed by Lantugi is a modified Oregon Oxford. To explain further in detail, each debate team is composed of 4 members. There shall be 3 affirmative speakers and 3 negative speakers to deliver constructive speeches focusing on the following arguments. We have here for the first, necessity or non-necessity. Second one is beneficiality or non-beneficiality. And the third one is practicability or non-practicability. There shall be 1 affirmative and 1 negative rebuttal speaker. The affirmative team delivers the first constructive speech, in which the first affirmative speaker gives his or her constructive speech on necessity for 4 minutes, followed by an interpolation for 3 minutes of the first negative speaker. This shall be followed by the constructive speech of the first negative speaker on non-necessity for 4 minutes also. A 3-minute interpolation on the first negative speaker's speech by the first affirmative speaker follows. The same order follows for the second speakers on beneficiality or non-beneficiality and the third speaker on practicability or non-practicability. Rebuttal speeches for 5 minutes follow after the 3 speakers of both the affirmative and negative teams have delivered their constructive speeches and performed their respective interpolations. The negative team first delivers a rebuttal speech, then followed by the affirmative team. There shall be no more interpolation after these particular speeches. The use of any objects or materials in support of one's speech or explanation during the whole duration of the debate is strictly prohibited. Duration of the speeches and interpolations is regulated with a bell alarm. Last-minute warning alarm goes once. At the end of the allotted time or the final alarm, the bell alarm goes twice. The speakers are strictly advised to end their respective speeches and or interpolations once the final alarm is sounded. The moderator emphasizes a proposition and signals the commencement of the debate. He is tasked to rule on points of clarification about the issues or questions raised by the speakers and answers given during the interpolation. Moreover, the moderator ensures that the debate is orderly and follows the rules of modified Oregon Oxford procedures. The official debate timer accurately regulates the time for speeches and interpolation. The Board of Adjudicators shall determine the winners of the awards for Best Speaker, Best Debater, and Rebuttal Speaker based on separate sets of criteria as provided by the Lantugi 2015 Committee. The debate team with the more number of awards shall automatically win the Best Debate Team. Lastly, the decision of the Board of Adjudicators is final. And here is the criteria for judging. For Best Speaker, we have here position or viewpoint worth 15%. Evidence or use of facts and examples, we have here 10%. Relevance of supporting arguments, we also have here 10%. Strength of arguments, constructive speech, we have here 15%. Delivery or overall projection, which is of course divided into choice of words or articulation, which is 15%. Speaking voice, 10%. Organization or clarity, 5%. Poise or deportment, 10%. And lastly, we have here preparation or mastery, 10%, and of course, delivery or overall projection is worth 50% with a total of 100%. For the best debater, we have here position or viewpoint is now still worth 15%. Evidence or use of facts and examples is higher by 5%, making it 15%. Relevance of supporting arguments, which is also higher by 5%, we also have here 15%. Strength of arguments or interpolation or art of questioning, we have here 20%. For delivery or overall projection, we have here for the choice of words or articulation, we have here 10%. Speaking voice, 10%. Organization or clarity, 5%. Poise deportment, 5%. Preparation or mastery, 5%. A total of 35% for delivery or overall projection with the overall total of 100%. For the rebuttal speaker, we have here for delivery, 20%. For evidence, we have also 20%. For summation, 30%. And lastly, identification of fallacies, 30%. We have here also a total of 100%. Before we proceed to the introduction of the Board of Adjudicators, may we request the audience to kindly be very considerate and keep your voice at a very minimum level. Once again, since this is a very intellectual debate, a very intellectual discussion, we are asking the audience to please, kindly, minimize your voice, and I think that is the evidence for that request. Thank you very much for that. So we will now proceed to the introduction of our Board of Judges. Our first judge is someone that some of us know. She is a graduate of Bachelor of Arts in Communication Arts, major in Speech Communication from University of the Philippines, Los Baños. A graduate of Master in Development Communication from University of the Philippines, Open University. She is currently taking up Doctor of Education at St. Paul University, Dumaguete City. She is a former college instructress of Norsu BSc, De La Salle Lipa, and UP Department of Humanities, UP Los Baños. She's currently an English teacher of the Department of Education at Bayawan City Science and Technology Education Center, High School Department. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Mrs. Emma H. Artes, MPC. Our next adjudicator is a debater by blood and by heart. He is a believer of a principle that in every argument there is always a counter-argument. He's a graduate of Bachelor of Laws in Foundation University and the chief organizer for the revival of the Law Forum debate in the said school. In 1995, he was a member of the debating team, Research Bureau of the Political Science Department of Silliman University, a lecturer of Parliamentary Procedure at Ramon Pastor, Dumaguete Science High School, Silliman University, College of Business Administration, and the United Church of Christ in the Philippines. A former president of the Dumaguete Radio Press and TV Club, and former City Information Officer in Dumaguete City. At present, he is the Operations Officer of the City Public Safety Office. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Edilberto Jun Marabas Uraba II. Our Chairman of the Board of Educators we have here. He is a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, also from Silliman University. Bachelor of Laws, Silliman University. He passed the bar in 1987. He was a private practitioner for 2 years. He joined the Commission on Elections in 1989, and he is currently the City Election Officer of Bayawan City. Ladies and gentlemen, please let us welcome the Chairman of the Board of Adjudicators, Attorney Juvenal O. Tuale. And those dear Norsunians are the ones who will be katayi, that is Bisaya. Katayi in deciding, katay, the word katay. Katay in deciding for the best speaker, best rebuttal speaker, and of course, the rebuttal speaker, and of course the best debater, which will ultimately lead to the best debate team. And now, I believe that you're very excited. Are you? Yes! Alright, but during the debate, we are asking the audience once again to please refrain from making any claps. Would that be, Mr. Chairman? To kindly reserve your, applause at the end of the speeches. Alright, so now we will be having the history of the proposition. Let us welcome Ms. Jessa Marie Tinapao, AB Mascom second year student.
On April 15, 1975, former President Ferdinand Marcos issued Presidential Decree 684, which enabled the creation of the Kabataang Barangay to give youth a chance to be involved in the community affairs and to provide the government means to inform youth of the government's development efforts. His daughter, Amy Marcos, was the chairman. Upon the toppling of the dictatorship and the rise of President Corazon Aquino to power, the entire system of government was overhauled through the 1987 Constitution. The KB became the precursor of Sangguniang Kabataan, which was established by the virtue of Republic Act 7160 of the Local Government Code of 1991, authored by Senator Aquilino Pimentel. In the Corazon Aquino administration, among the policies of the state as mandated by the 1987 Constitution is the empowerment of the youth. The Sangguniang Kabataan is considered as the legislative body composed of the youth, which is essential in providing projects and programs for the rights and welfare of the sector. However, there have been various calls that seek to either reform or abolish Sangguniang Kabataan. On September 5, 2007, a manifesto was issued by the Federation of Student Governments for the abolition of SK, which was deemed as non-performing at the National Leadership Training for Student Government Officers of Baguio City, in Baguio City. The manifesto states that SK initiated our young early into the ways of traditional politics because of the dirty tricks, vote buying, kidnap for votes, kidnap not vote tactics, and mudslinging employed by the relatives and parents who are themselves politicians and their political patrons. On the other hand, Sangguniang Kabataan National Federation and their proposition paper entitled Reform, Not Abolition argues that the bills that aim for the abolition of Sangguniang Kabataan and the provision of one youth representative may hinder the maximum participation of the youth. Furthermore, accountability will not be kept in check with only one individual as opposed to an 8-member SK. With all the arguments taken into consideration, the UPC-IDS study asserts that while the SK may have its flaws, it is still a unique system for the involvement of the youth in the governance and private organizations. One of the most prevalent issues also of Sangguniang Kabataan is that Jane Cajes, the Sangguniang Kabataan National Federation President, was charged before the Office of the Ombudsman Visayas in April 2010 for lack of transparency in her financial dealings and for planting her loss. However, she said that it was just black propaganda orchestrated by her political enemies. During the National Congress in Panglao, Bohol, the participants urged Cajes to present her financial statement. It was also reported in the newspaper of Bohol that they already demanded for the financial report, which Cajes failed to present. The participants also insisted that Cajes should likewise render her report on the donations coming from the PCSO, Philippine Amusement and Gaming Operation, and other private donors. Due to these problems caused by Sangguniang Kabataan existence, several individuals argue whether to abolish, to continue, or reform the Sangguniang Kabataan program. Individuals from different status of living have their own stand with regard to this matter. This SK issue urged us to be here right now to hear different opinions from our 8 competent debaters in the affirmative and the negative side to enlighten us whether to abolish Sangguniang Kabataan or not. Ladies and gentlemen, today's proposition resolved that Sangguniang Kabataan be abolished. Let me present to you Lantugi 2015.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Again, welcome to Lantugi 2015. Our proposition, let it be resolved that the Sangguniang Kabataan, or SK, should be abolished. First off, I would like to introduce the members of the debating teams. Arguing from the affirmative side, we have Mr. Jimmy Martinez. Round of applause, please. Miss Julia Rosane Cabanban, Julie Arellano, and Mr. Lily Quinto. And taking on the negative side, we have Julie Ambos, Gift Angelica Alvaran, Mr. Carl J. Quiamco, and Mr. Mark J. Anthony Rivera. So, the debate is whether this proposition to abolish the Sangguniang Kabataan is necessary, beneficial, and practicable. So I guess our debaters are all ready. So starting off with the affirmative side, arguing with the need to abolish the Sangguniang Kabataan, we have Mr. Jimmy Martinez. You have 4 minutes, sir, for your constructive speech.
People of this House, adjudicators, To my opponents, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. The Sangguniang Kabataan was created under the Local Government Code of 1991, replacing the Kabataang Barangay, which was established through a Marcos Decree. SK was envisioned to be a training ground for youth leaders that will attend to the needs and problems of the youth and harness them in community development activities. However, SK has failed to become the typical organization, to become the primary vehicle in creating programs for the needs and advantages of the youth. A survey conducted in Cavite and Manila that SK is now in dilemma for its being inefficient and irrelevant to its purpose. Minority Leader Aquilino Pimentel, the author of the Local Government Code, and the DILG late Secretary Robredo called for its abolition because it has not been proven functional and effective in delivering its services under the Local Government Code. The DILG Secretary Robredo added that SK abolition will not only save the government approximately 3.5 billion pesos in election expenses, but this is also in line with the government's judicious streamlining of functions and services at the barangay level. Is it necessary to abolish SK? Precisely, I would say yes. My point or argument number one, SK should be abolished because SK officials have neglected duties and responsibilities. Torregosa said they neglected duties because they are preoccupied with other things. Rimulya added that SK is a useless organization, and according to Cornelio, SK officials cannot perform duties and responsibilities because they must have to attend school. Federated SK Altea Catalina F. Castro was suspended for 1 month by the Provincial SK Federation due to negligence and dereliction of duty. The Council Secretariat said and confirmed that Castro is among the top absentees during regular sessions. She has always a reason of being busy in school activities. Apostol said the worst thing is that when SK officials continue to receive allowances if they did not discharge their duties and responsibilities. This negligence of duty is against Article 11, Section 1 in the Philippine Constitution that public office is a public trust. My second argument, my dear opponent, SK should be abolished because it is hereby declared to be the policy of the state consistent with the Constitution that giving priority to education rather than engaging the youth at an early age in dirty politics. According to Sergio A.M. Apostol, SK's chairman are not found in their barangay because they have to pursue elsewhere to pursue their college education. According to Article 14, Section 105, in Article 11, Section 17, education is given without due process of law, nor shall any person be denied the equal protection of the laws. And according to Ineffort Trends conducted survey that only 10% of the youth is concerned in politics. The League of Municipalities of the Philippines said in the Level that SK's relevance has been proven obsolete because of inherent defects. That is why the SK mentioned that she made absences due to school activities. That is why she was suspended for 1 month in her service. In addition to that, there is a manifesto that states by the Federation of Student Governments for the Abolition SK was deemed as non-performing at the National Leadership Training for Student Government Officers in Baguio City. Therefore, there is no reason why to retain Sangguniang Kabataan. Thank you.
Mr. R.J. Campo, from the negative side, you have 3 minutes, sir, to elaborate.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker, from the affirmative side.
Good morning to you.
You have mentioned that you have your research on Cavite, right?
Yes.
Can I ask the year when is that research was acted?
This research was acted actually last 2007.
Okay, last 2007, Mr. Speaker. My question is, are you considering yourself as a part of the community body called youth?
Of course.
Will you agree to me, Mr. Speaker, that the voice of the youth must be heard?
Of course.
Are you aware that SK had organized activities and projects for the development of the youth?
May I validate my answer, Mr.
I want your solid answer. It's either yes
no
or no, Mr.
precisely
Speaker.
no.
Next question. Are you aware of the recent research made by the Lyceum of the Philippines, Mr. Speaker?
I'm not aware of that, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Moderator, Can you please allow me to educate my opponent about the research that was conducted by the Lyceum of the Philippines, wherein it is acted just this May 2014?
Let's go ahead. If the affirmative speaker would allow.
Of course, precisely I won't.
Mr. Speaker, this is acted just this May 2014. The performance of the Sangguniang Kabataan officials as mandated by the Local Government Code of 1991 is the basis of this research, wherein the research shows that the results showed that the Sangguniang Kabataan have been able to perform their mandated duties and responsibilities under the Local Government Code, which is rated as good, Mr. Speaker.
Will you please validate my explanation, Mr. Moderator?
I would like to remind the negative speaker to your explanation. You have your time later.
Mr. Moderator, may I ask from you that actually it's not his time for explanation because he has only...
That's why I am asking for the, if I am allowed, Mr. Speaker.
I said to Mr. Moderator that precisely I want...
My question, Mr. Speaker, is would you agree with the SA and organized activities and projects?
Please answer.
No.
No? So therefore, you don't have idea why we have this SK right now, Mr. Speaker?
Can you please validate my explanation, Mr. Moderator?
Because I just read the research a while ago, Mr. Speaker, if you are
Can you
listening.
please allow me to explain?
Mr. Speaker, I need your answer.
If we base on the article, if we base on the Constitution, it has not being mentioned in the Constitution that
Mr.
there's
Speaker,
space for
do you believe that there are leaders that are being produced by the Sangguniang Kabataan?
Alright, thank you very
That
much. Your time is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I now request Mr. J. Campo from the negative side 4 minutes for your explanation and constructive speech, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We in the negative side strongly stand for the retention of the Sangguniang Kabataan. It was in the year 1975, through Presidential Decree number 684 of the late President Ferdinand Marcos, the Kabataang Barangay was created, whose primary objective is to give the youth a chance to be involved in community affairs and to provide the government means to inform youth of the government's development efforts. Unfortunately, year 1986 when then President Corazon Aquino abolished the said youth representation. 5 years after, that was October 10, 1991, the Sangguniang Kabataan was born through the approval made by Her Excellency President Corazon Aquino, which have been uttered by Senator Aquilino Pimentel. The Republic Act 7160, Local Government Code of 1991. It is through that act institutionalized the creation of Sangguniang Kabataan and putting more emphasis on what Article 2, Section 13 enshrined in the 1987 Philippine Constitution, that the state recognizes the vital role of the youth in nation building and shall promote and protect their physical, moral, intellectual, spiritual, and social well-being. Your honors, there is a huge number that comprises the youth sector of this country, which means that their representation is needed and a big help for governance. The United Nations Children Educational Fund, an international body says, and I quote, young people have tremendous creativity and energy that can be tapped to promote development and help ensure that they achieve their fullest potential. Kabataan Party List Representative Raymond Palatino commented that we should not put to waste this large network of young Filipinos who want to participate in government and community service. It is with that vision, but it sounds ironic, ladies and friends, that these people in the affirmative side is trying to show their love and care to the young and our country in general. The compelling idea for SK is that we cannot put them into non-existence, as they have a great potential relevant to the development and progress of their constituents. The Sangguniang Kabataan perform their functions that would provide a role in the government should not be brought to an end. In all fairness to Sangguniang Kabataan, they had organized activities like leadership seminars, education programs to the indigenous people, livelihood trainings, youth empowerment to junior Purok officials, sports rebuilding and community extensions. This is the positive dimension I had discovered through SK throughout these years. SK as an organization is not perfect, yet SK has lapses. Friends, this imperfection is an invitation that the government, all stakeholders must do more to help keeping the youth representation, not to the extent of abolishing the program in order to solve the problem. Abolishing is not the solution, my friends. Mr. Moderator, your honors, I am now ready for the interpellation.
Affirmative side. 3 minutes.
Good morning once again, Mr. Speaker.
Good morning to Mr. Speaker.
My first question is that, would you agree with me that SK as an institution was established because of one primary purpose, and that primary purpose which is to achieve its goal?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, if that primary purpose was not achieved, is there any reason for that institution to exist?
Maybe so. But then there's no further research about that, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, no, you're not sure about your
has
answer.
not attained
Mr.
it.
Director, to me another question. Even if there was a malfunctioning sovereignty, still that sovereignty is necessary to exist?
Yes.
Oh no, another wrong you have.
Can you
Would
allow
agree with
Mr.
me?
Speaker to,
Oh,
Mr. Moderator, to defend my answer? Why it is no?
My question.
Mr. Moderator.
Would you agree with me?
Like the rule, no? During the debate, during the interpellation, this is the time of the interpellator. So you
Okay,
have to
Mr.
answer
Speaker.
the questions propounded by the interpellator.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, for that information you have. Another question is that, would you agree with me that SK was built because of the idealism of that institution?
Yes.
If that idealism is a failure, is there a reason for that institution to be strengthened or to be modified?
No, Mr. Speaker.
Another question, Mr. Speaker. Does engaging politics is the sole way of participating in nation building?
I am, yes, as far as the Sangguniang Kabataan and the youth is concerned right here, Mr. Speaker.
I don't think so. Would you agree with me that youth as an SK is not a primordial consideration as stated in the Constitution?
Can you specify your question, Mr. Speaker?
You have to listen to my question.
That's not.
It's a very
Because
simple question. Would you agree with me that youth as an SK is not a primordial consideration? In the Constitution, when we say primordial, it is the priority of the Constitution itself.
yes, Mr. Speaker.
Are you aware that Federated Altea, Katrina, and Castro was suspended for 1 month because of negligence and dereliction of duty?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
So,
To prove my answer, there is no further research and that
would you agree with me that firstly, it is not against herself, but to the Constitution in Article 11, Section 1, that public office is a public trust?
considering the youth, Mr. Speaker, yes.
Does a performance of a public servant needs to be negligible in relation to his or her duty?
Pardon, Mr. Speaker?
Does a performance of a public servant, you can only take for granted that you have to neglect your duties and responsibilities?
That's not the point. That's not the point here, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The time is up. Okay, arguing with the benefits of abolishing the SK, this time we will proceed to the beneficiality of the proposition that has listened to the constructive speech of our second affirmative speaker, Julia Rosane Cabanban. You have 4 minutes.
Your Honors, friends from the negative side, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Is it beneficial to abolish SK?
Yes, according to Dr. Jose Rizal, the youth is the hope of our nation. This statement of Rizal is true today, and it was during his time. The Philippine Constitution, Article 2, Section 17 states that the state gives priority to education. How can the youth give priority to education if he or she is given a responsibility greater than what she can handle? The former SK National President, Mrs. Jane Cajes Yap, was charged before the Office of the Ombudsman for the lack of transparency in her various financial dealings. She failed to submit a financial statement. The case was thrown out of court last February 2013. But my point is this, Your Honors. How many 15 to 18 years old can do budgeting, auditing, and do reports independently? We have to remember that we are entrusting them public funds that ranges from 100,000 to millions of pesos. Your Honors, if our youth will give priority to education, our nation will certainly benefit from this. Why? Because we will have a morally informed and well-trained leaders that are essential for the improvement of our economy. And they will be confident to stand on what they believe in. If we put our youth in office, how can a student leader focus on education and serving the people if he or she is serving two masters at the same time? What if he or she will take a leave from school? Do you think that is the best way to take? What happens in the state giving priority to education? The best way to equip our youth to become a good leader is by giving them proper education, and they can even participate in school government. And if the youth is not properly educated, then there is no assurance that they can shoulder the yoke of responsibility that goes with their position. My second point, Your Honors, according to the former COMELEC Chairman Sixto Brillantes Jr., and I quote, "Wala namang achievements, wala namang performance, sayang ang pera, it is a breeding ground for graft and corruption." Yes, not all SKs doesn't have achievements. Not all are not functioning well. And no SK has been convicted of corruption. But according to Joanne Michelle Lara of UP Manila in her study, the legislator said that SK doesn't serve its purpose. SK doesn't really meet the needs of the youth at large. Sports-related projects are common to the SKs. But what will the others get? Those who are not into it. Do you think that drug signage has an impact on the youth? Given that there is a palpable proliferation of drug use among the youth. The budget for SK election costs approximately 3.5 billion pesos. It is absolutely a lot of money. If we abolish SK, then we will save a lot of it. That money can be used for giving scholarships, medical assistance, livelihood, school allowances, and for giving importance to the moral and spiritual needs of the youth, and etc. In that way, the youth at large will benefit from it. Your Honors, friends from the negative side, ladies and gentlemen, abolishing SK is not only beneficial for the youth at large, but it is also beneficial for the society. Thank you.
Judy, Ambos from the negative side, you have 3 minutes for interpellation.
Good morning, Ms. Speaker.
Good morning too.
Ms. Speaker, do you believe that SK has contributed to the development of the young?
No.
Oh, are you aware that SK initiated programs like sports festival, environmental protection measures to develop their character, spiritual, physical, intellectual, and moral well-being?
No.
Well, Ms. Speaker, that is very visible. The SK are having projects, Ms. Speaker. So are you saying that SK is not implementing such projects, Ms. Speaker?
May I validate my answer, Mr. Moderator?
Proceed with the question, please.
Mr.
The question is answerable by yes,
Yes.
also.
Again, Ms. Speaker, do you believe that SK has contributed to the development of the young?
Yes.
And do you agree with me that because of that, SK still serves its purpose, which is to develop the young?
No.
Why do you say so, Ms. Speaker, when in fact you've agreed that SK has helped in the development of the young?
It is not your turn to explain, Ms.
Ms.
Speaker.
Speaker, that is a question to answer.
No, Ms. Speaker, it is an explanation.
Ms. Speaker, do you agree that SK still serves its purpose, which is to develop the youth? That is my question, answerable by yes or no.
The youth, in what way they are
Ms.
developing?
Speaker, those projects initiated by SK are helping the youth to develop their character, spiritual,
No.
physical, intellectual, and moral well-being.
No.
Why, Ms. Speaker? Ms. Speaker, I don't think you know your stand in this debate.
May I elaborate my answer, Mr. Moderator?
The speaker will allow.
That was just a simple yes or no, Ms. Speaker.
But I want to explain. That question is very broad, Your Honor.
Yes, okay, Ms. Speaker.
Mr. Moderator.
Go on, Ms. Speaker.
Proceed with the question.
Do you agree, Ms. Speaker, that SK still serves its purpose?
No.
Why, Ms. Speaker, when in fact you agree that there are projects held by the SK?
That is an explanation, Mr. Moderator.
No, Ms. Speaker, you agreed on that. Ms. Speaker, I don't know.
It's not your turn to explain, Mr. Moderator.
Ms. Speaker, do you agree that if a certain agency still serves its purpose, there is no reason for it to be ended?
No.
Oh my God! Ms. Speaker!
Alright, your time is up. Thank you very much. I would like to ask for 1 minute suspension. Okay. Proceed to the second negative speaker. You have 4 minutes for your constructive speech. Please proceed.
Well, the research conducted by the United Nations Children Educational Fund 2007 entitled Impact of the Youth Participation in the Local Government Process with the University of the Philippines Center for Integrity and Development states that sangguniang kabataan should not be abolished, instead strengthen it. Your Honors, our good friends in the affirmative side, Mr. Moderator, people in this house, a pleasant morning. Ladies and gentlemen, the sangguniang kabataan should not be abolished. And allow me to do the honor of presenting the beneficiality of this matter. Point 1. The sangguniang kabataan is the avenue of the youth to participate in governance. Youth are said to be vibrant, enthusiastic, creative, and a lot more. These energies should not be wasted, rather providing them with a place to lead, to share, to inspire, and be informed of all undertakings of the government. The SK serve as a bearer of the voice of the youth. In micro level, the SK officials participate in barangay council sessions, drafting resolutions, introducing projects such as Linggo ng Kabataan, sports festival, environmental protection measures, scholarship programs, and a lot more. that through SK, the Council may consider if the program to be implemented is also beneficial to the youth, the next generation of this country. Point 2, the Sangguniang Kabataan enhances the different skills and abilities of the youth. In fairness, it is very apparent that the SK in Barangay are very visible, spearheading sports festival, organizing seminars and training for character, spiritual, physical, intellectual, and moral development of the young. In economic point of view, the Sangguniang Kabataan initiated jobs and livelihood programs for their fellow. As far as statistics is concerned, there are 45,000 individuals all throughout the country benefited from this. The figure might sound small, but mind you, multiplier effect is at work. Through this, families have good income, they studied well, malnutrition and other issues are somewhat helped. Point 3, the Sangguniang Kabataan represent the youth in various government programs and projects. Imagine, there are 42,095 barangays, which means there are 336,760 SK officials nationwide. One good thing here is that more youth involved, more chances of having good result. In fact, there are local ordinances sponsored by SK which are being enjoyed by its constituents as protection and welfare of the youth is a primary concern. Having presented these points, don't get me wrong, I am not saying that SK is that lean, but my point is the Sangguniang Kabataan in its picture is really beneficial to the youth, to the community, and in our country in general. Lastly, the youth needs more attention. Our country must invest much for the youth as they will be the drivers of the economy, as they have the full potential, making our beloved country worth living. Mr. Moderator, Your Honors, I am now ready for the interpolation.
President Kabarmay on the affirmative side, 3 minutes to debate. Please proceed.
Do you agree with me that the state recognizes the vital role of the youth for nation building?
Of course, Ms. Speaker.
Do you agree with me that SK is for nation building?
Yes, of course.
Do you agree with me that SK is not the only way for nation building?
Yes, they are our partners in developing.
Therefore, Ms. Speaker, there is no problem to abolish the SK.
There is a big problem in abolishing the SK.
Excuse me, Ms. Speaker.
Ms. Speaker.
Do you agree with me? Or are you aware that in the study, you stated in your first part of the speech that it is also found out that the system is weak?
The system has its lapses, but it's not.
It is also supported in a 2010 study by the UPCIDS that study was correct that the system was
Ms. Speaker, 2010. Well, I have my research here. Last 2014.
Excuse me, Ms. Speaker. May I proceed to my next question? How sure are you, Ms. Speaker, that all the activities that the SK have conducted are youth-related activities?
Those are all youth-related, Ms. Speaker, because the budget for the SK are allocated for the different development of the young.
Are you sure that all the youth that is part of the Sangguniang Kabataan benefited from the
Yes,
SK
Ms.
project?
Speaker, that's why I stand here today, because SK has contributed to the development of the young.
So are you generalizing the youth at large?
I am saying, Ms. Speaker, that SK is still beneficial to the youth, Ms. Speaker.
The first, according to the Asia Pacific Journal of Education, Arts and Sciences study, the topic to the release for the abolition of SK is that SK must be exposed to education training to come up with better projects. Do you think
That's
that
part, Ms. Speaker.
do you think
Officials are also studying, Ms. Speaker.
you said yes, SK officials are also studying,
Yes.
but are you aware that because they are attending seminars and they have responsibilities in their barangay, they tend to are you aware that they
The negative speaker, please listen to the question.
Are you aware that an SK in Maria City Hall said that he was absent during his final terms in class because he was obliged to attend a seminar?
Speaker 1, but not all.
Alright, thank you very much. Abolishing the SK practicable. So let's now listen to the third affirmative speaker, Miss Lily for your constructive speech 4 minutes, please.
Your honors, our friend from the negative side, coaches, Mr. Moderator, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let me get this straight, everyone. Many debates had taken place in the call of abolishing the Sangguniang Kabataan. So may I ask, is it really practicable to abolish the Sangguniang Kabataan? We say yes. Ladies and gentlemen, in the hand of practicability, I have here some arguments. First, in the track, the Sangguniang Kabataan is not a right. It is a privilege given by the government to represent the youth as a whole. You may ask why? Is there any difference between right and privilege? According to Merriam-Webster dictionary, right is something that a person is or should morally or legally have, get or do. While in the other hand, privilege is a benefit that is given to some person and not to others. In addition, privilege can be taken away from someone's whim. Ladies and gentlemen, SK is a privilege given by the government to represent the youth as a whole. So that's why it is very achievable to abolish the Sangguniang Kabataan. Continuing on my second argument, SK is not specifically stated in the Constitution. Article 2, Section 13 states that the state recognizes the vital role of the youth in nation building. So obviously and literally, the Sangguniang Kabataan is not and never can be found in the Philippine Constitution. So it means that it is very possible to abolish the Sangguniang Kabataan. In fact, the author of the local government code, Senator Aquilino Pimentel, is in line with other lawmakers in the bill seeking for abolition of Sangguniang Kabataan. Why is it so? To think that he made this law. Your honors, even in a shallow level of interpretation, it is very understandable that the author himself of the SK have seen the defects and flaws of the system. So it is very achievable to abolish the Sangguniang Kabataan. My third and last argument, ladies and gentlemen, the SK should be abolished to offer alternatives in which the youth can represent themselves. Alternative ways in which the youth can represent themselves at large. That their right mandated in the Constitution will not be overshadowed if these proposals be enacted. Article 2, Section 23 states, the state recognizes non-governmental based or sectoral organizations that promotes the welfare of the nation. These alternatives are discovered and encouraged in many research and bills. Joan Michelle Lara of UP Manila said that alternatives are much viable rather than the Sangguniang Kabataan. And even the legislature said that the SK does not serve its purpose. Another thing is, it encourages our state policy to form private or public sector in forming unions, associations, or societies not contrary to the law shall not be abridged. So we are going to abolish SK not because of corruption reason alone, but because of the benefit of the inherent
Thank you very much. Third speaker. We now call Gift Angelica Alvaran from the negative side. You have 3 minutes to cross-examine the affirmative speaker.
Good morning, Ms. Speaker.
Likewise.
You look good today.
Thank you.
Ms. Speaker, do you believe that the youth should be part of the government affairs?
Of course.
Do you agree that SC have done a lot of help in the community they serve?
Yes.
Am I right that abolition is the solution?
Yes, of course.
And how sure are you, Speaker?
Many studies and research have been examined.
When exactly is that research, Ms. Speaker?
I am basing the Joan Michelle Lara research the year 2008.
Well, are you aware of the recent research, Ms. Speaker?
But Ms. Speaker,
On the date May 2014, that stated that Sangguniang Kabataan is performing its task as mandated to it and is recommended to be good.
Ms. Speaker, all of the recent research I'm basing also on the previous research based on few years before.
But this is the recent, so meaning that is what is happening on the Sangguniang Kabataan right now, Ms.
Yes,
Speaker.
the late and the recent is getting...
The late is the late, the recent is the recent, Ms.
That is
Speaker.
your definition, Ms. Speaker.
Past is past, and present is present, Ms.
Yes,
Speaker.
it is.
I believe. Another, next question. Aside from abolition, Ms. Speaker, can you give me some solutions done by the government to solve the problems of Sangguniang Kabataan?
Please.
Aside, you have said that abolition is the solution. Well, aside from abolition, Ms. Speaker, can you give me some solutions done by the government to solve the problems of Sangguniang Kabataan?
It is not a categorical question, Ms. Speaker.
You can't give your answer, Ms. Speaker. So you
Yes,
mean
I
that
can.
we are directly concluding that abolition is the solution without trying another solution to solve the problem? If that is the case, Ms. Speaker, then why won't we try a solution aside from abolition?
Ms. Speaker, I will give you an
Ms.
answer.
Speaker, if a person is sick, do you heal the person or cure the sickness? Likewise, in Sangguniang Kabataan, Ms. Speaker, abolition will not solve the problem of Sangguniang Kabataan.
So do you mean that the formation of the SK is the best and practicable way?
Of course, because abolition is never proven to be the best and practicable solution.
Then why is
I'm sorry, Ms. Speaker, but it is not your time to ask. Another. No further question, Mr. Moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now listen to the third negative speaker. Angelica Alvaran, 4 minutes for your constructive speech.
I personally believe that a good government must have a good governance wherein everybody has a part. Sangguniang Kabataan should not be abolished. People in this house, Your Honors, Mr. Moderator, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant morning. Much has been said by the affirmative speakers saying that to end this, abolition must be done. How can we afford to abolish Sangguniang Kabataan? The concept of SK is good in itself. In fact, the Philippines is the only country in the world which gives a mechanism for youth sector to participate in governance, particularly in local government unit. This is actually in response to the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Children to create a path wherein they can connect and represent their sector towards active participation in the affairs of the government and in the state as a whole. It only speaks that Filipinos value the notion of young blood leadership. For 2 decades, the Sangguniang Kabataan
catalyst of change. To mention some, the SK from Cebu City sponsored 5 ordinances, 25 barangay resolutions for the entire province of South Cotabato, 7 ordinances from SK Iloilo City, and a lot more. The Federation organized Annual Linggo ng Kabataan, job fair in partnership with DOLE and other agencies, conducting seminars and trainings on drug-related concerns, spearheading environmental advocacies like parenting and planting all throughout the country. The bottom line is, the Sangguniang Kabataan is performing its task. Along with that line, friends, we should not describe all SK leaders as non-performing. There are many SKs who do their responsibilities well. If there are SK whom we consider as non-performing, there are also others who helped a lot in the community they serve. Your Honors, we, the negative speakers, are very much aware of the present problems of Sangguniang Kabataan. But we are not convinced that abolition is the solution. Putting an end to this is never proven to be the best and the most practicable way. Senator Bam Aquino once said, and I quote, "We should not abolish them. Their representation in the community is very important. They embody the members of the younger generations in society. This is not an emotional issue, but based on study. Young leaders play a vital role in making the members of their sector be free from any illegal doing." He added, "Corruption? You are so much concerned with this. If corruption is the issue, then we should abolish barangays and LGU units too. SK members can access funds without approval of local officials. Abolishing SK does not eradicate corruption. If there are corrupt SK members, blame LGU and even national leaders for being bad role models. It is not SK that is corrupt, but the system itself. Another, because they are young. Friends, no one is too young to serve, to contribute something, may it be small or big, for nation building. The point here is that age must not be the issue. SK is not working alone. They take part to barangay councils, LGU, and other agencies. In summary, if we want to neglect the youth, then go to abolish SK. Your Honors, Mr. Moderator, the negative side is now ready for interpellation.
Thank you. We now call Sterling Liquindo for 3 minutes interpellation. Please proceed.
Good morning again, Ms. Speaker.
Good morning.
So my first question is, does the SK serve its full participation?
Of course, yes.
So how are some SKs performing well?
May I pardon?
Will you give me some examples that the SK are performing well?
I would be so privileged to give you some examples. As I have mentioned in my speech, you have heard that, did you? So I will not mention that anymore. But another example, Councilor Alan Yudanga of Naga City. He urged his
May I proceed to my next question, Ms. Speaker, because I think it took a lot of time. So, next question. Do you agree with me that it is the right of the youth to be part in running the government?
Of course, definitely.
So do you agree with me that the SK system is a privilege given by the government so that the youth has an avenue to represent themselves?
Yes, it is a privilege to protect their rights.
No, Ms. Speaker. What I've said in my speech, the SK is not a right, it's a privilege.
That is your speech, Ms. Speaker, but not based on our research.
Yes, we are not.
How can we rely on your speech?
We are based on the
personal
Constitution,
opinion?
Ms. Speaker.
Again, Ms. Speaker.
We are basing on the Constitution.
And what?
So may I proceed on my next question? Thus, the only way to represent the youth is through SK.
No. We are aware that there are actually a lot of youth organizations, but Sangguniang Kabataan is different from that. Is different from those youth organizations because Sangguniang Kabataan is the direct seat to governance.
Ms. Speaker, right, the constitutional objectives of the SK. So it states that it also have the spiritual. So thus it means that the disco in the barangays is related to that, or are those still related to SK?
Yes, it is part. And if I am to clarify, disco is part of the social programs.
Give me an example that there's a spiritual activity being
YFC is actually part of the Sangguniang Kabataan. They are partners.
I bet it
Thank
is
you
not.
very much. Thank you very much. So we have here the arguments on the necessity, beneficiality, and ability of the proposition. Let us now listen to the summation and the rebuttal speeches. First, we call on the negative rebuttal speaker, Mr. Junrey Arellano. 5 minutes for your So we'll proceed to the first negative speaker, fourth negative speaker for 5 minutes rebuttal speech.
My colleagues in the negative side, good job guys. We have done our part, presenting to you the facts and realities in the Sangguniang Kabataan, with our strong stand saying SK should not be abolished because of the following. The SK is still necessary. The voice of the youth must be heard and be given an opportunity to participate in active role in governance. In the point of view of beneficiality, yes, it is, because the Sangguniang Kabataan contributed a lot to nation building. Don't tell me that we cannot appreciate the ordinances sponsored by SKs in the barangays and the LGUs, and the very visible programs and projects spearheaded by SK. Another, the practicability. Friends, abolition is never proven to be the best and practicable way in order to solve the problems that SK is currently facing. Putting end to the program is never seen to be the solution. Your Honors, people in this house, my greetings to all of you. Good morning. May I invite you to ride in the Ceres bus from the terminal city of Bayawan to Dumaguete City. And please bear with me as I will be your driver. And all of you will be my passengers. Are you ready? Passengers, fasten your seatbelts, sit back, and relax. We are now in Santa Catalina. Along the way, we have encountered the first speaker of the affirmative side of saying that it is necessary to abolish the Sangguniang Kabataan. What? According to him, in order for us to solve the issues on SK is to abolish the program. That is, ladies and gentlemen, ignoratio illegis. Abolition never proven to be the solution to the problem. Another, argumentum ad hominem. He is no longer dwelling to the main issue, but rather he's making another issue just to convince us that SK should really be abolished because SK is corrupt, inefficient, and ineffective. My dear passengers, sorry for these mismovements. We are now approaching the municipality of Shackle. Unexpectedly, the second speaker of the affirmative side is there, waiting kabataan in legislation become beneficial when, according to her, one SK official was once absent because of SK seminars, and they were obliged to go to the seminar, and she generalized that SK officials are not balancing the school or the studies and his responsibilities in running the government. Another, she's using the name of our national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, without any verifications that the statement of Dr. Rizal were proven true, and that is argumentum ad vericundiam. The youth are the primary concern here, Your Honors. Ladies and gentlemen, despite the destruction we have encountered along the way, I still have the courage to continue this journey for us to reach our final destination. On our way to Santa Gita, there is a small yet beautiful girl bringing a small piece of Catalina with a text saying, "It is practicable to abolish the sangguniang kabataan." What? Practicable to abolish the SK? Is it practicable not to include the youth in running the government? Is it? According to her, the abolition of SK is very visible to be abolished. And she used the name of Joanne Michelle Lara from UP, states that SK does not serve its people. Another, argumentum ad vericundiam. Another statement. Another, the third speaker committed the argumentum ad baculum. She said that inherent defects and flaws are corrupt. It is through SK that the youth are visibly given the importance by the government. Your Honors, my dear passengers, something wrong with the bus. Ladies and gentlemen, this same thing will happen to us if we will not allow SK to be in the government. We cannot reach our final destination in empowering the youth, hearing their voices, and giving them the chance to be educated in government.
Thank you very much,
Your Honors, Mr. Moderator, people in this house, the negative speakers, signing out. Thank you.
Let's now listen to the fourth affirmative speaker, Mr. Ray. Sorry, that was Mark J. Rivera of the negative side. So this time we have Jun Ray Arellano, fourth affirmative speaker. 5 minutes for your rebuttal speech. Please proceed.
Youth representation for nation building and a training ground for future leaders. A very noble purpose, isn't it? How sad it turned to be a stained reputation. Over the years, Sangguniang Kabataan has been twisted and is no longer in unison with its original purpose. Good morning. It is my pleasure to meet you all. Ladies and gentlemen, the negative side invited you to ride a series bus from Bayawan to Dalmaguete. This time, encouraged me to bring this debate into sports, basketball. I am sure that you all are familiar with this game. Am I right? Yes. Now, one of the rules in basketball is foul. First foul, second, third, fourth, and if you continue to commit so, you will be fouled out from the game. Let the game begin. First, foul. The non-necessary speaker presented that we, the affirmative side, do not give recognition or show love to SK officials, for we are for its abolition. Argumentum ad misericordiam. Appeal to pity. We, the affirmative side, do not ignore the issue. The SKs was, instead of having compassion to them. Second, foul. The non-beneficiality speaker pointed that our beneficiality speaker don't think her stand. Argumentum ad hominem, attacking the person. She is directly an attack to our beneficiality speaker, not of giving a conclusion. Third, found. The non-beneficiality speaker talks about economic view. Argumentum ad vericuliam, inappropriate authority. Economic view is not a legitimate authority in the matter of not abolishing SK in its beneficiality. Fourth, found. The non-practicability speaker states about the recent study of SK recommending that it's good. Appeal to novelty. It doesn't mean that it is recent. It is brilliant compared to not recent study. Last, found for the negative side, and they will be found out from the game. The non-practicability speaker states about abolition of SK is not been proven. Argumentum ad ignorantiam. Appeal to ignorance. It doesn't mean that abolishing SK has not been proven. It's false simply on the basis that it does not prove true. Over, found out. The non-practicability speaker states that if abolishing SK because of corruption, our government leaders have banned and abolished, so they are corrupt. Ignoratio ilinche, irrelevant conclusion. Our government leader that they said so corrupt does not address the issue of SK's clause for abolition to be proved. Result, that Sangguniang Kabataan be abolished. It is a need. 1 point. SK officials have neglected their duties and responsibilities, which is against to public office is public trust. The nature of SK as it presently stands runs contrary to the nature of public office. SK officials must, at all times, serve their constituents with utmost responsibility, integrity, loyalty, and efficiency. It is beneficial. 2 points. Abolishing SK will open the youth to prioritize education. Where will the funding go? We, the affirmative side, are strongly proposing to fund it in establishing a more standard education so that not only youth in school will benefit, even out of school youth, it will encourage them to go to school. Extendingly, we have the Philippines, a country with educated individuals in the future. It is practicable. Third, 3 points. The Philippine Constitution talks about youth for nation building, and so we ask, does the word youth stated in the Constitution solely refer to the Sangguniang Kabataan? No, it is not. It is specifically stated in the Constitution. Another is, abolishing SK does not neglect the right of the youth. SK is not a right, it is a privilege given to the youth. Having presented these, ladies and gentlemen, we, the affirmative side, are firm to stand for SK abolition. Your seniors, my friends from the negative side, Mr. Moderator, adjudicators, kudos, Lantugi. The game is over. Thank you.
Alright, thank you very much. Why don't we give our debaters a resounding applause for and may we invite both sides to cross the house and shake hands, please. Both sides. And our debaters our debate. This juncture, will we allow comments from the adjudicators? Yes.
Thank you very much, debaters, as well as, of course, Mr. Moderator, who we were unable to introduce to you. So, of course, we have here Mr. Oliver S. Algo. Let's give him an applause, please, for doing his job as moderator, a good job as moderator. At this time, we'll be entertaining comments from the adjudicators. So, of course, let us give the floor to them.
listen to some of the comments from our adjudicators. We start off with Mr. Junior Alba, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. What we have seen is just the showmanship of these debaters.
Sir,
We do not know.
Sir John, before you proceed, may we request to the audience to please subdue your voices so that we can listen to some comments from the adjudicators. Thank you.
Now, I would like to address this to the audience because at one time you will also become one of the debaters here. First, you would see the importance of research. What you have seen is only how they deliver their speech, but you do not know how they made the research, how many sleepless nights in making that research. And it will prove that if you have a very good and a well-researched position, then it would be very easy to convince the audience. The moment that you do not have good research, everything will flop. That's one. Number two, remember that in a debate, that is time-bounded. Do not go around the bush, hit the bull on its head. Because, as you have seen, the moment that the first bell rings, everybody gets rattled. And they tend to eat their words, eat their speeches that we could no longer understand. Remember, this is time-bounded. So make sure that your speech is all there. Do not go around the bush, hit the bull on its head.
That's all. Thank you. Thank you. We listen to Mrs. Emma Artes for some comments. Ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. May I stand, Mr. Moderator? Yeah, I feel more comfortable speaking when I see audiences. Well, I would like to comment on the way everybody speaks. No? For one to become a good debater, the very first thing that you must have or you must possess are good qualities of a good speaker. And a speaker does not only talk. A speaker does not only use their mouth, their teeth. They use everything from head to toe, including, of course, what's inside the head. That is very important. That's why in a speaking engagement, for you to be so persuasive and so true with the words that you have researched on, you have to have good, of course, voice. Voice is important, no? Kasi nakakadala siya. But of course, more important, lagi namang 10%, 5% lang ang speaking voice. But it can be trained. Kailangan modulated ang voice natin. But of course, added to that is firm ka. Kasi in a debate, nakita ninyo how they fought. Unahan lang. Murag sindakan lang ka, no? Pag nauna yung kalaban, kuyawan na ka. But if you have an alert mind, klaro, madaling dalhin. Then another thing that I would like to really emphasize on this, of course, as a speech communicator, I'd like to, it really helps if you have good pronunciation. Kasi ikaw mismo madidistract. Ikaw mismo sa sarili mo, if you know, hala, I mispronounced a word, uulitin mo, or ikaw na mismo maratal na ka, kahit masamot, nadugangan ng imuhang, by the way, sorry sa akong binisaya, kay Tagalog mo. Anyway, but then, that affects. So train yourself also. You do not need to be a debater for you to become good speakers. But to the speakers, congratulations, you did a good job. Kasi hindi ganun kadali na mapunta sa mga stand na yan. Napakahirap. Congratulations.
you, artists, and of course, our chief adjudicator. Let's hear some comments from Attorney Jovinal Duarte.
Again, I'd like to request that understand. I cannot speak well if I'm sitting down. First of all, I would like to congratulate all the winners. You have done your job. You have done your work well. Personally, since I am an election officer for over a quarter of a century, I am ready for the abolition of the history. But rest assured, speakers, my scorebook did not depend on my personal conviction. It really depended on how you deliver your argument. I say I am for the abolition. I am not innovator, but I'd like to continue. I'd like to explain why I am for the abolition of the history. History is just a dream as a youth development. I agree with the affirmative side when they said that youth development does not is not necessary to get involved in politics, because actually in this case it is the parents who are interested in having their children elected. Once also the SK or the children or the child is elected, they depend much on the barangay officials. The barangay officials will just say, okay, approve, and we will release your budget, otherwise we won't. So that is why I am for the abolition of the SK. Again, I'd like to congratulate the speakers, but as in any contest, there are 8 of you. Only one winner is proclaimed. Before there was ever a contest, there was an election to be particular. The wisest man on earth, who is that man? King Solomon. King Solomon in his book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9, verse 11, said, and I quote, again, as I look throughout the earth, I see that the fastest man does not always win the race. The strongest man in the battle. The most skillful are usually poor, and the rich are not usually famous, but by chance and by happening to be at the right place and at the right time. If you win, this is your right time. If you lose, this is not your time. Again, akong binisay ito, I'd like to say it in the vernacular. Sabihang itanaw ko pag-usap ang kalibutan, ningon si Harry Solomon. Sabihang itanaw ko pag-usap ang kalibutan, nakita ko nga dili ang tanang kusog mudagan, kanunay mudaog sa lumba. Dili ang tanang kusgan, kanunay mudaog sa pakigsangka. Kasagaran sa mga kapos, adunay abilidad. O dili ka lang adunahan, mahimong halangdon. Aba mahimong kang mananaog, mahimong kang halangdon kung ikaw anaa sa insaktong lugar o sa insaktong panahon. Good morning.
Thank you, Attorney Duarte. So can I now turn you over to Mrs. Bev for the President?
At this juncture, recognition to our adjudicators and of course our moderator. Once again, we're requesting the audience to kindly refrain from really expressing yourselves at this point as the program is still going on. So we request for your, thank you. All right, so may I request Professor Baron and Professor Albina to kindly come on stage. The citation reads, Negros, Oriental State University, Bayawan, Santa Catalina Campus, College of Arts and Sciences, English and Literature Department, awards this certificate of recognition to Mr. Oliver S. Ogo for his invaluable contribution as moderator of the 2015 during English and Literature Celebration 2015 of Norso Bayawan, Santa Catalina Campus, held on February 24, 2015 at Norso BSC Gymnasium. Given this 24th day of February 2015 at Negros State University, Bayawan, Santa Catalina Campus, Bayawan City, Philippines. I'm signed by Albert C. Albina, M.A. Philo, Chair of Lantugi 2015 and the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, to be signed later by the Chair of the English Literature Department, Flordelisa Vivaron, Math PLL, and Sultana C. Kagang, PhD Campus Administrator, and also Peter Hidayat, PhD, OIC Office of the University President. With the same heading, certificate of recognition is awarded to Mrs. Emma H. Artes for invaluable contribution as adjudicator of the Lantugi 2015. With the same citation, certificate recognition is awarded to Edilberto Yoralba, LLB, for his invaluable contributions as adjudicator of the Lantugi 2015. With the same citation, certificate of recognition is awarded to Attorney Juvenal Soale for his invaluable contributions as Chairman of the Board of Adjudicators of the Lantugi 2015. tabulation sheets, and they're very much furiously deciding, not really deciding, but tabulating for the accuracy of the score so that the winner will be, of course, exactly the one who deserves to win Best Speaker, Best Rebuttal Speaker, Best Speaker, Best Debater, and Rebuttal Speaker of Lantugi 2015. And again, those will be the team that will be receiving the most number of awards will automatically become the best debate team. Did you enjoy the debate, audience? What did you learn? Much? Not much. So do you think you can also do the same thing someday? Yes! 9 yes or 9 no. So 9 ba siyang yo? Alright, I'm sure that some of the audience here are very much inspired with the debate. And I believe that some of the debaters have inspired them also to become future debaters. So as we can see here, the chair is keeping a close vigil on the score sheet so that the scores will not be alterated. It will really be, the veracity of it will really be a big hopping 101%. We are announcing this, of course, at 3 p.m. will be the parade for Broadway. So as you can see here, some of the audience are already wearing their t-shirts for their Broadway musical. So ako na matigdan so far is The King and I, and kagahapon na po'y nagpayag-payag na mayagpag rather, na Royal High, which is of course part of Greece. So this afternoon will be a showcase of the musical, glimpse of the musical And of course, we'll be seeing the cast and characters decorated at Bayawan City. So, of course, katong wala yung mga English, yung mga or literature subjects, you can enjoy the parade by witnessing the costumes of our cast of the plays, respective plays. So tonight, of course, we'll be having a Broadway musical showcase. Mga 4 p.m. siguro mag-start right after the parade. And kindly do come, especially katong wala po yung English and literature. Let us witness what Broadway is all about and what some presentations of Broadway is all about. Okay, so are you excited for tonight? Okay, so I hope that you will be having your role tonight. So of course, you will be cheers of the musical play that your representative, your contingent is of course representing. So happy na gyud ang ato, happy na magluto ang ato ang best speaker, best debater, and rebuttal speaker. So can you guess who the best speaker is? Alright, so we're requesting attorney Juvenile to kindly announce the winners for Lantugi 2018. We are also requesting Honorable Megan and what's this one? Miss Guardiano to also give the trophies with the rebuttal speaker for Miss Guardiano and for best debater and best speaker, of course, Mr. Ligan. To be with Professor Barrow, Professor Albina, and the Board of Judges. Board of Educators, rather.
Picture video
So we're requesting once again Professor Baron, Professor Albina, Honorable Ligan, Miss Guardiano, Sir Yoralba, Mrs. Artes, and of course Attorney Tuale to kindly come here on stage for the presentation of the awards.
Johnny.
So today the debaters, whoever will be winning as best debater, best speaker, and rebuttal speaker for the 2015, they will be receiving trophies. Your certificates will follow soon. Alright, so let's give congratulations to our debaters. So let's give them a hand first before they will be crowned. Could you please make a louder? I believe that they were not, the task needed were not easy. So again, a loud applause for them, please. Understandable. Alright.
I was not really expecting that I will be given the task to read or to announce to you the winners of this debate. But as chairman, it is my responsibility to announce the winners of this Lantugi 2015. For the best speaker, we have the third speaker of the negative side.
What the F?
Also, the third speaker of the negative side.
Daog na sila. Pila ka awards? 5? 3?
Yes. Best rebuttal speaker. We have the speaker, rebuttal speaker of the affirmative side. And of course, since the negative side has 2 awards, they are the winning team.
formula. Alright?
One.
So we are also requesting the moderator and the timekeeper.
Wala.
Don't believe it's just right.
Klase ka.
Ang klaseng to ko. Pero, dili na lang.
Parade.
Parade, ano? Pagka 3. Nasayot na ba ito ko eh? Dili dagay negative. Ha?
Alright, we are requesting once again the adjudicators to please have your picture taken with the debate teams. The center, please. And also with the moderator and the timekeeper, kindly be with the teams and the board of adjudicators. So please don't leave the gymnasium yet, as what was announced earlier. Napatay ka may isbutan kaguman sa photo opportunity.
At least nasa mga rebuttal. Pressure di hatak. Nasa rebuttal.
Thank you.
Wow, best coach.
Second.
Second, dude.